At Bausch and Lomb, we believe in innovation, in progress, and in bringing the very best of new ideas and better ways of doing things for our customers. The iPad is a fantastic tool. The move from paper to iPad-based sales aids is revolutionising the working practices of the B&L sales force. The iPad is making a huge difference to time management, as well as the flexibility and portability that a tool like this offers. Used correctly, the iPad is a powerful sales tool, but as I'll show you later, if used badly or unprofessionally, the iPad can damage customer relationships and hinder sales. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how we can get the very best from this technology, and above all, how we can make the iPad work for us and our customers. We'll look at best practice and preparing for a sales call. For example, before you meet with your new customer, we'll show you how to use your iPad to plan your sales call as you think about the objectives and the likely direction of the conversation. We'll show you in detail how to use your iPad sales app effectively when you meet with your customer, and of course, how to follow up a sales call using your iPad sales app. So let me show you how you have access to all the sales materials and proof sources you'll need to sell effectively at your fingertips. This is exciting technology, and you'll be simply amazed at what the iPad can do for you and your customers. Gone are the days of carrying a case full of sales aids. Within a few taps of the screen, up pops everything you'll need to make your sales call not only more professional and efficient, but more successful. Accessing great audio-visual content couldn't be made any easier, and because you can dynamically update over the internet, you will always have the most up-to-date materials. Plus, using the Sales Aid app when the call is done, you have the ability to send follow-up emails and attachments automatically to your customers and update their records at the same time. This tool truly is a fantastic way of interacting with your customer or customers. Meet Sarah. She's been a successful B&L sales representative for about 5 years now and knows her product well. The most enjoyable element of her work is interacting and talking to her customers about the products. She is quite new to the iPad Sales Aid, but is excited to use it with her new customer, Dr. Peter Duval. He has Stellaris in the operating theatres, but bad news is this clinic currently uses Acrisoft IQ IOL made by Alcon. Conscientious as always, Sarah goes through a series of checks that will make her call more efficient. Firstly, although obvious, check the battery is fully charged. The last thing you want on a sales call is a flat battery. Clean the screen. Make sure it is presented well. Also, consider switching the iPad to airplane mode and the Wi-Fi off so that notifications do not interrupt your presentations. The app is designed to be used in landscape mode, so use the screen rotate lock to avoid the orientation changing midway through your presentation. Also, turn off the screen auto lock time so that you won't have to keep re-entering your passcode if you get timed out. Oh, and of course, double check you have exactly what you need loaded onto your iPad. Take the time to practice navigating through each of the apps. Use the forefinger raise or double click on the home button to keep your current app open whilst you explore and navigate through the others. Sarah has Invista loaded onto her iPad for this call, but she also has Stellaris loaded ready just in case. She's practiced navigating between the two and fully reviews all the screens she is likely to be using during the call. The time Sarah took to go through her pre-call preparation with her iPad will make her much more proficient and professional during the call. Not only did she check the operating system of a device, but she also took the time to think about how she might use her iPad to its optimum potential during the call. Next time you're preparing for a sales call, take a few moments to go through some simple checks. Is the iPad fully charged? A flat battery is no help to anyone. Is the screen clean? You might also think about the brightness level setting. Have you checked all your settings? For example, screen rotation lock, Wi-Fi, and auto screen lock off. Do you have a backup plan in case the technology fails? It's unlikely, but it's worth thinking about. Okay, so you've done the system checks. Now it's time to think about the presentation itself. Are the most recent versions of the Sales app loaded and synchronized? Have you practiced using the presentation? Are you completely comfortable and confident navigating through it?
Do you know which materials can be emailed to the customer and how to navigate out of the presentation to your email account? Have you checked that the presentation is loaded and ready to go? And lastly, think about the customer context. You need to plan your presentation for each customer and plan according to the circumstances of the meeting. Where will the meeting be held? How many people will you be presenting to? One final thing to think about, using the iPad at a congress. All these checks are equally as important when talking to customers at an event, but remember, they're very busy and noisy environments, meaning in-app video commentaries will be virtually impossible to hear. So know your content well and describe what is happening accurately and precisely.
Now Sarah has completed her preparation, the next thing she has to do is check in Dr. Duval. As you can see, this is another very simple and intuitive process. Right, that done. The meeting seems to be going very well. Let's take a look. Sarah has found that Dr. Duval doesn't use Invista yet, but as you can see, she's working on that. He has told Sarah that his ideal lens should be hydrophobic, that should have great clarity, and he would also like to be able to prevent post-operative glistening. As you know, Invista is FDA approved glistening free, so as he wants to see more, time for the iPad. Sarah has the Invista app already loaded. Sarah now uses the iPad to demonstrate to Dr. Duval Invista's hydration technology. She explains how they are hydrated to equilibrium before being implanted and stored in saline to prevent unwanted glistenings. She goes on to show Dr. Duval 4 of the studies that have proven the glistening-free claim, and then from there uses the iPad to email them over to him, so he can look at them at his leisure. Not only is he impressed with the lens product, but he's also amazed by the flexibility and interactivity of the iPad, a great start to a new customer relationship.
Sarah did really well there and used the iPad effectively and to its full potential. As you saw her use the iPad Invista Sales Aid, what were the main things you noticed? What did you notice as she was setting up her iPad? Here are some of the things you need to consider before you begin your next meeting. Things like positioning. Set your iPad so that everyone can see the screen clearly. If more than 2 customers, project your presentation onto a screen from a laptop if necessary. And remember to sit in a way so you can maintain regular eye contact. Did you also notice the way in which Sarah and Dr. Duval were interacting? The main things to keep in mind are to engage in a 2-way dialogue with your customer. Don't just go through the material slide by slide. Do not hand control of the iPad to the customer. Involve the customer in the presentation, but don't relinquish control. Remember, in-app video commentary will be very difficult to hear, so familiarise yourself so you can describe the action, and do not be tempted to use unfamiliar apps. It'll be obvious to the customer. And when using the iPad with your customer, be aware of their attention. Be in control of the meeting. Don't allow the iPad itself to be the main focus. Be aware of your own attention too. Maintain regular eye contact. For example, don't continually look at the screen. You may well be standing with the customer, so make the presentation concise. Once the meeting is done, check out from the customer account and set up the next one. Review your performance. How did it go? If something doesn't work, make a note and change it for next time. All these techniques and tips will make you more professional, focused, and confident when meeting with your customer.
So we've talked about best practice when using your iPad as a fantastic sales aid. Now let's just take a moment to look at a few of the no-nos. Let's just imagine Sarah was not quite as diligent. The initial meeting with Dr. Duval might not have gone as well as it did. Sarah hasn't given herself enough time to go through her basic checks. Oh dear, Dr. Duval doesn't look that impressed. Dr. Duval has an iPad at home and wants to show Sarah his favourite game. This is not exactly what she had planned for her sales call. Don't let the customer take control of your iPad. You never know what they might do with it. Practice your presentation so it's slick and smooth. Know how to navigate through each screen and between apps so you come across in the sales call as confident and professional. Yes, the iPad is portable and flexible, but please think about the right time and place for presenting.
Okay, so we've seen that the iPad Sales app is a terrific innovation for Bausch and Lomb, and when used to its potential, the iPad can be a fantastic sales tool. Oh, and as you've just seen, when it's not used correctly, it can go drastically wrong. Sarah loved using our iPad sales aid. So much information at her fingertips, easy to access, plus Dr. Duval seemed to like it too. The iPad allowed Sarah to illustrate key points using great graphics, videos and animations. It makes two-way dialogue that much easier, and the fact that she can send follow-up emails and information at the touch of a button makes the job so much more efficient. Sarah gained lots of confidence after getting out there and using this fantastic tool. I hope this presentation has given you the confidence and enthusiasm to use this great innovation to ultimately increase your sales. Thank you.